ladies and gentlemen.
This is the rock we've all been fighting for.
It's good night, freaking Irene! Let's get ready to rumble!
Time! Tell enough people to fire truck out.
Let's welcome Bett Hlavacek. It's good to have you back, my friend. It's great to see you again, and let's get right into it. You know, what have you got going on? What have you been doing? None of us have been doing a whole hell of a lot, but
Yeah, I mean, in person, obviously we're dealing, I'm in New York, so we're dealing with, the gyms closing and slowly reopening, and they're opening with, strict guidelines on opening. So we've been really working on that, but at the same time, I've been kind of shifting everything over to online. Everybody is online now. I mean, if you can't train in the gym, you could still go and take a private with Liam Harrison on his, website. So we've been working on a lot of that stuff on Muay Thai Graham, and then obviously with Knocking Weight Legends, we're just chugging along with that. And the one problem we have with Knocking Weight Legends now is, Bangkok's closed. So a lot of the guys, we have Matt Lucas, in Bangkok working for us out there, and it's hard because a lot of people, their gyms are closed down. They went back to the country. There's no reason for them to be in Bangkok, or they went out to Phuket or something like that because I believe Phuket is still open. So it's crazy. We're just trying to keep our head above water, just like everyone else.
yeah, it's insane. Like we were just saying, is you kind of had to find something to focus on. Like,
sure.
We went from you had a regiment of that you did every day, train or teach or whatever you're doing, and then 2 weeks off, cool. I can take 2 weeks off. Shit,
exactly. Yeah,
a year off. That's a little extreme.
for sure. And like when this first happened, last March or whatever it was like, this is great. I'm gonna work out at home, hang out, do this stuff. That lasted like a week, and I'm just like, why work out? I could sit here and play PlayStation all day.
Exactly. Xbox all day.
Yeah, and then just a lot of my wife is cooking a lot, which is great, but it's just like, a lot of good food.
Yeah. No,
it's tough, and it's like, why diet? Why work out? There's nothing booked. There's nothing coming up. You can't do anything. We don't know what the answers are going to be,
We were talking to Kevin, and he was like, I don't know when I'm going to get to fight again, or if I'm going to get to fight again. Yeah. Because he was saying, he's like, I'll give it about another year, and he goes, I'm probably just got to refocus because this is ridiculous, because he was coming off his injuries and things like that to his hand and all that, and he was finally good. They scheduled something, and then all hell broke loose.
And he's on Bellator, right?
Yeah.
Which is tough too. I mean, honestly, they're kind of here or there. You hear about them, and then what the hell they do? I know they do MMA, but like their kickboxing never really kind of took off. So I hope they get a little more consistent and get him work. It's nice to see guys like Triumphant and Lion Fight are having shows through this whole situation. I mean,
that's
big
where
promotions right now.
He got offered to fight for, was it Triumphant's do it in Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got offered a fight from them. That's what he was telling us. And he went to Bellator and he said, hey, because Bellator lets their fighters fight.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we kind of have something in the works, and so he's like, all right. Yeah. But he's actually going down there to do a ringside.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's cool. That's Mexico. A lot of California guys are on those shows. And then you have Lion Fight, and they're doing shows in Texas, Kansas, Wyoming, whatever states are kind of open right now.
Right.
And, the big thing with them is they got on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah.
So they can kind of, I'm assuming they have some money in so they can broadcast shows with limited capacity. But if you've been in this business and you've been to shows or, talk to promoters, it's the tickets that pay the bill. If you can't have a live audience, it's not like we're like the UFC where it's like, it's okay, we got Reebok money or ABC's paying to, put the fight on. It's like, no.
Did you watch the fights?
Yes.
Holy shit, Cater and Holloway.
Yeah. It's a great fight. I mean, geez. I mean, that guy came into the beating. I mean,
he's from over here. He's from where I'm at. He owns a amateur organization over here that it's amateur pro-am MMA organization over here in Massachusetts. And so
He also trains with Jake.
And he trains with
Guy Jake is Muay Thai from Hard Knocks. You know Hard Knocks guys out in
Jake.
Yeah. He's one of the trainers there. Jake Panini.
He's not a doctor, right?
I don't know. I just know him through the scene, but I know he's been working with a couple MMA guys, and I saw him warming them up and doing some stuff on like the backstage shit. It's cool to see a lot of New England guys get some love too. Like
well, him and Rob Font. He just fought and won. He's another one from that Calvin trains with, but they're like local guys. Like I saw him around before. Like Calvin actually made his run in the UFC, and it was pretty cool. And it's like. Khalil fights on the Connor card, a good buddy of ours. So, it was cool that he was contemplating just being done, retirement. Yeah. And, he found whatever he found, and he's like, all right. And he signed a new contract because he had a fight. And, again, all of this happened, and he's like, I'm so over it.
It's just, we're just getting strung along by everybody, right? I mean, obviously the promoters.
Everything.
They have but it's the whole world. But I was supposed to fight March on Warriors Cup, their new promotion. They kind of teamed up with some guys from Friday Night Fights. I was supposed to fight for them at the end of March, and then obviously maybe July or something like that. And like now we're a year later, and it's like holy crap.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I have a contract with Lion Fight. I'm contracted to fight for Lion Fight in August at Foxwoods.
Okay.
And that's if this all holds up, right? I don't know, that's just what we're saying and what they're trying to plan to, like book shows in advance. And their problem is they had to cancel 3 shows. So they have 3 shows worth of fighters that they need to get them fights, fulfill their contract, and make sure these guys are getting paid before other fights get booked. So I have no clue. I'm thinking August where, it's, we're in January right now. So I have plenty of time, but hopefully I'm trying to get something in between. We'll see. It's up to them. And, they're also dealing with a lot of guys are, not able to make the fight last minute, whether it's quarantining or they got to take off work. Things just aren't working out. Travel restrictions come up every day now, different. And don't even get me started on Thailand. It's been.
Don't get me started on Thailand.
I'm on Reddit daily, trying to get updates. And
I'm not. I gave up. Like I did that for the first 6 months or whatever. Followed all the Facebook groups of the people that are going in and out, and I gave up. I was like, this is sad. Everybody's like, yeah, they're coming in. No, you can't come in. And
it doesn't make sense for me to take, a 3-week vacation, have the first 2 weeks be in quarantine.
For whatever, $3,000 for a hotel in Thailand.
Yeah. And I feel bad for guys. Every once in a while I go and I train out in Jersey with Ogden Topic, and he made the decision right when this all popped up to come back. And he thought he was going to be here for a couple months. He stuck here a year later.
I wasn't supposed to stay.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been trying to go through the whole process of getting and doing the quarantining and stuff. And he's just like, it's just so expensive. It's just, he just needs to get over there. But getting over there costs a shitload of money. And it's time. And then you're like, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Like, what do I do?
I mean, I'm all right here. I'm still working. So it's like, all right. But it's like, I was only supposed to be here for a couple months, get my new visa, and go back. And
yeah, it's how a lot of people were.
It was like I knew people that got stuck there too, though.
Yeah,
and that was totally different. And
it goes different too. There was also people who got stuck here. A lot of like people who were visiting the U.S. from Thailand, they couldn't get back into their own country. They're stuck out in the U.S. or wherever they were traveling abroad. It's just a mess. I mean, and it was good for a while. Shows were opening back up. I think they were having some fans at actual fights at the stadiums, and then they had this outbreak, and they immediately shut shit back down.
Wasn't Max open the whole time, and they just shut down?
Max was open for, I'd say, a good half of it. I believe maybe 2 months ago, they finally kind of shut the doors for now. But they were staying open. Those entertainment shows, Max. I mean, they were doing. Super Muay Thai or Muay Thai Super Champ. They were doing weekly shows with a couple people in the audience, but mostly, just the people there to fight and officials. Right. And then slowly the stadiums came back, and they were doing good, and then this outbreak. And I don't know, I was talking to my friend Matt, and I'm just like, is this just something that just popped up, or is it just like now they're testing a lot, and now that they're testing a lot, there's actual numbers. Like, who knows?
Well, when I heard about I knew people that were still in Phuket, and they were like, yeah, well, they locked us down to the neighborhood. Like, literally, they were like, they would come door to door. Or if you went to the 7-Eleven, you were getting tested at the 7-Eleven, like your temperature before you could go in. It's like,
yeah, they were pretty hard on it.
But they got rid of it way quicker than we could. But
seems
look how quick it just popped back up,
Yeah, and this is the whole second wave that everyone was talking about and all that. But I don't know. I mean, it's here in New York. They're rolling out the vaccine pretty quickly, so hopefully that helps out. And then recently, our governor, after 6 months of dragging his feet, finally says, "Hey, we need to really open up the economy and open up businesses, because if we don't now, we're not going to have anything to come back to." And we're like, "No shit." Like
we do this after a month, where and people don't have any money, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm on unemployment and whatnot," and it's like, well, what about people that aren't getting unemployment, or the depression, or like all these things that are affecting people that we don't even talk about?
Sure. And I mean, obviously, like, in the business, talking to all my friends with gyms, and we're going through it all together, but also the bars and restaurants out here are dying. And even the gyms are allowed to open now. Bars and restaurants are just, you can drink outside. It's 30 degrees out.
Exactly. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm in New Hampshire, and they did that, and I'm like, I'm not going to sit outside anywhere. Like, I don't remember the last time I went to a restaurant and ate. Like, it's not something that you think about anymore. It's kind of like, all right. And then Kevin was saying that he went down to Mexico to do one of those shows, and he's like, man, we were on the beach, and
they're wide open.
He goes, oh shit! He's like, it was like, wow, we forgot we could do all this.
I mean, there is something I really do miss just going out and be able to sit down and have dinner with friends and not have to stand up, put your mask on, sit down, numbers, all this. It's crazy.
I don't go anywhere. Like, I hate going anywhere because I don't like wearing a mask, and I only go to the supermarket and I'll put a mask on. And that's the same thing. It's like, again, we were talking about this vaccine, and we don't know anything about the vaccine or whatever. And it's like, I don't vaccinate for like the flu or any of that. Like, I just, whatever. Yeah. Everybody gets flu, whatever. And but so I wouldn't necessarily want to do it for this, but I can't travel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, if we're gonna want to travel, then you're definitely gonna have to get it. And it like, my plan is to be out. I better be out in like Bangkok or Phuket by like September, October. I'm gonna be very unhappy and just I don't want to.
I was hoping to be back in July.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows?
No clue.
I know people that keep buying tickets, and I'm like, you're insane. Why are you even wasting the time, like, until you know something? Yeah. And then that crazy, like you said, I mean, a lockdown, and like, I don't know how much everybody was like, it's around $3,000 for the hotel and lockdown. I'm like, my condo cost me, I think it was like $4,200 for the year. I'm not gonna pay you $3,000 to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks.
Right. And it was they were also trying to, if you were following the groups, they were trying to throw around these things. They were like, they were, if you wanted to come in, one of the things that you had to have was like, I think it was something like a certain amount of money in your bank account. Like, when you get like, when you get like, not the extended tourist visa, they want like bank statements to show that you have money, so you come over to Thailand, and obviously you're not just like, begging.
Last time I did it, I had to have 7,000 in my bank account for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
And that was for the 6-month tourist visa.
Yeah.
And I was, through technicalities, you make it a year.
Yeah, of course. But with these new restrictions, they were trying to say something like you needed like $20,000 in your bank account just to go over there for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, they're just making it harder for themselves. But like, the thing is, they would throw stuff out like this and see what would stick. And like 2 days later, like, that's not happening. We're not doing that. Yeah. Move on, something else, and there'd be some other new requirement that we needed, or we didn't need this requirement. It's crazy.
Or some insane travel insurance, and then how do you get the travel insurance? What do you need to cover? And
the whole process seems very overwhelming for me, because I would freak out because I don't know if I have the right up-to-date information and you need this. Because you know the deal, you can fly over to Thailand, like, you don't have this signature, go home, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. Like, it's happened
You're
plenty
like,
of times. Yeah.
do you know how many hours it took to get here?
Yeah. It's a 15-hour flight, and then they're like, you just didn't do this one thing, and we can't let you in. Like, oh.
No, I always made sure, like, everything was all in a row before I got on that plane. And I remember one time I flew without a return ticket. Like, I usually fly without a return ticket. Yeah. And I was flying. China doesn't care. China Airlines, they don't give a damn what you do. But I flew through whatever the Japan airline was. And when I went to get on, they're like, you don't have a return ticket. I'm like, no. And they're like, you have to sign a waiver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then,
I knew they were pretty strict on having, you need some sort of return ticket or onward travel.
Right.
So a lot of people would, just to get it, they would spend the $80 and get like an AirAsia or Knock Air flight. And you could just get it, and either I guess they would get a refund or just not even use it. But that would at least something.
I mean, I flew all over when I was there. I would go to Cambodia or Vietnam. Right. Like, I was paying $35 round trip to go out of Thailand and back in.
And you're doing like photo runs?
Well, I had, with my 6-month visa, I had to leave the country still, just like a normal one. So it was unlimited entry, but I still had to leave every 60 days or whatever.
Got it.
So I when it was time to leave, I would go, I'm going to go spend a couple weeks in Cambodia. I got a friend that has a gym there. Or I went and visited. I went to Laos to get my new visa. So I was like, well, have to do it then. And, it was like, just get out of the country. But it was like $35 round trip. Like, how much? But then it was like $50 to put your bag.
That's the big, like, that's the big trap is I've made that mistake a couple times now trying to figure out how to prepay like the baggage weight and move our stuff around because we went there one time and our baggage cost much more than our actual flight.
I've seen lots of people like checking in and freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have a backpack, and then what I would do is I pack everything in my backpack, and then I'd have my gloves and just put them on the outside. Sure. And then you can get through all the up to security, and then security may tell you to put them in, and then I take them right back out. All I would take is a backpack. Like anywhere, I could go 2 weeks with a backpack. I was good. Mm-hmm. So it's like, Nice. So what else have you got going on? You got Nak Muay Legends. What do you got going on with that?
Right now, like I said, it's tough. We're not coming out with anything new. We're just reordering and restocking everything because a lot of our stuff is selling. It's doing well. Good. But we're kind of taking time right now to kind of figure out what direction, who we're going to go with. And like I said earlier, it's hard to contact people right now because Bangkok is kind of a ghost town. Yeah. So right now we're just kind of holding. Muay Thai Gram is going well. We actually just recently this new year we're sponsoring fighters. So I think I was even talking to you, having some of them on, possibly Angela Chang. Definitely. But we're just we're getting behind some younger fighters and we're helping them out. We're offering them social media coverage, obviously, and then I'm also helping them out and I'm getting them some sponsors. We got some supplements and then got some mouthpiece companies working with them, just trying to help out the younger kids. We've been doing this for a long time and hopefully we can make it a little easier for them and help them out.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking to do with this podcast is like last year, I wasn't motivated to do anything. Yeah. And like we did a few episodes. I mean, we had John Wayne Parr on. I mean, we had some good stuff going, but it was just like I wasn't gung-ho motivated about it. And I talked to my co-host, who I don't know what he's doing today, but I was like, look, I want to get back in. We have a good following. Like, I get messages all the time, and I get messages and people are like, hey, I just heard your podcast. I just listened to them all. And I'm like,
that's
damn.
Good.
All right. Yeah. From all over the world, which is cool as hell. Like, I have a guy that hit me up from like Ireland and just all over. And it's like, whoa, all right, cool. And so I, kind of like trying to get back in the swing of things. I'm like, all right, and this year, let's knock out some episodes. Like, and I was telling you, so now we're booking. So what we're doing is we're booking twice a week in the States and then once a week, foreigners. So like, we have a bunch of people lined up in Thailand, but it's the opposite time. Obviously, it's 12 hours different. So, so I'm trying to line all that up. But we've been getting busy. We got a bunch of good people lined up, and it'll be exciting. But we have to figure out because we use we use Anchor to put the podcast out, and they have a sponsorship for Anchor. So basically, if you listen to the episodes, like I'd record a commercial for Anchor, and then they pay you, like they don't pay anything, but they pay you, so over time you'll make $20, $30, $40 when you don't pay attention. You're like, oh, yeah, all right, there's some money in the account. But we're looking to do that too. We're looking to find a sponsor that really wants to get on board, because, like I said, we're going to start sending out shirts to all of our guests,
Sure.
And then shirts from the podcast, but also shirts from Fight Chase, from my brand. So it'll be just like, you're coming on, you promote whatever you want, we send you some stuff, take a picture on a t-shirt, whatever, it's cool that way. But we're looking to have somebody else come on to kind of supplement. We got to pay for all those, that, and then get some advertising. We had some interest from a couple brands. I have a friend that she's from Thailand, and she owns Mongkong Muay Thai, the brand out of Cali. And I've been friends with her for a long time. Like, we went to Raja together when she came over to Thailand, and she's friends with like the WBC president over there. Like, she has lots of connections over there, and she's interested in probably sponsoring a few episodes. And I've been helping her out with a few things, but just trying to get people interested. And it's like, I know what we have, but I don't like to be like, hey, give me some money. That just never really clicked with me. I don't want to beg people. Like, obviously, you need to get something out of what we're doing. Sure. But people are listening. So if you're in our industry and you want advertising, I mean, why not?
Makes sense.
So.
Yeah. I feel like the big thing, like going back to what you were saying, like, you really want to knock out some episodes. The big thing with, a lot of like the podcasts and even like social media for us, it's like the consistency is key. Constantly releasing episodes, like you said, or you film or record like 10 at a time, so you have them in the can so you can release them, because so many times people come out with a great idea and they have a great episode, and then you don't hear from them in 2 months. And when's the next one going to drop? And I feel like when you're consistent like that, that's what the sponsors are going to see. And even Liam Harrison, his podcast is doing pretty well, and he seems like he's knocking out episodes every week, and he has his following. But you can see he's got like the Joe Rogan, he's got like Manscaped and like all, he's got all these sponsors looking into him and stuff. Yeah. And I think just being consistent like that is what paid off. I mean, obviously,
I know Manscaped pays money.
Yeah.
Money too. Yeah. I remember, I don't even know. I know that somebody got paid really well to wear a Manscaped shirt on Joe Rogan. Like, really well.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they're like, they're going towards, it's like Manscaped. They got like Joe Rogan, there's some Liam Harrison stuff. Yeah. A couple of other bigger companies that, seem like they're putting some money into it for sponsoring. So hopefully you guys, like I said, if you're consistent.
I mean, we want to, and that's the thing too, is like, that'd be cool, but I want somebody that it's a mutual, like,
for sure,
relationship, somebody that is invested in the culture of what we're doing, not necessarily like, Bob's Pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I love pizza. I mean, that might be all right, but I'm saying, like, the used car lot down the street. But
what was it like the old UFC days when you could have sponsors? It was like you could see some of these guys like Big Al's Tire Barn or Condom Depot, and it's just like, obviously, I mean, these people need money, but it's just like you could really hit a point where you could pick and choose who you want to work with.
It's funny you said that, because we used, like, my business in Las Vegas. I had Audio Innovations in Las Vegas, so we had like custom car shop. And when I started at Vanderlei's gym, I sponsored one of our coaches, who was George Lopez. He was fighting in the UFC, and I sponsored him. So we had our logo on a few different guys' shorts and stuff like that. And then I came to realize it doesn't do anything for you, not a damn thing. Yeah, I never had one customer come to me and go, "I saw your logo, that's why I'm here." Get out of here. Like, it's cool, like, bragging rights. But other than that,
I was going to say it's kind of like a bragging right. And then some of these bigger companies just like, hey, I put my name on, like, just.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I thought it was horrible, like, when they switched over to Reebok, and you look at the ring now, the ring looks like their shorts used to.
Yeah.
But they're the only ones allowed to do it.
Yeah. I think the Reebok deal is coming to an end soon. And it's
who is
Venom.
Is it Venom?
I'm pretty sure it was Venom.
think, whatever it was a better brand.
A better brand. It was definitely a more combat sports oriented brand. Not that I'm a huge fan of Venom. Like I like certain stuff. Whatever. But it's cool that at least they're moving in the direction of something that's more involved in actual sport rather than Reebok's like, hey, this thing's popular. Let's make some shirts. And
yeah, but if
it
you
just
were
never
Reebok,
really clicked for me, man.
If you were a Reebok athlete, you had the hookup.
Yeah. But then you saw some of the money that they were paying. It was kind of out of control. Like a lot of these guys were making at most 10 grand from the Reebok sponsor deal. And they're like, when I used to have Condom Depot or whatever these other brands were, they were making a couple $100,000 just off of their sponsor thing.
Yeah. There was a few guys that were talking about that were like, I used to make, 200 grand a fight. And and Dana's like, oh, no, you didn't. Well,
yeah. Sponsor.
I mean, you can make the money, and if there's people like that, I don't know. I guess if you were an online store like Condom Depot, they were on everybody's shorts for a little while.
yeah. And then there's like, guys who were just getting in the UFC. They make the minimum, which is a couple $1,000s a fight, and then they have to wear the Reebok stuff. And since they just started in the UFC, it's like their first fight. They really only make like $1,200 for the sponsor that night. When they could fight in Bellator. And they can make maybe $2,000 a fight, but they make another 8 to 10 because they have sponsors.
Yeah,
they really have to weigh the options there. It's just like, what do you want to do? And
I got the understanding why like Dana was like, oh, we're going to be a professional team.
Yeah,
but you're not.
No, not when
there's not 20,000 teams. There's not like every gym isn't a team that now you're giving them a specific look that they can monetize. That's the other thing.
And he also stressed whenever the whole UFC pay came up and taking care of these guys, he's like, you're independent contractors. We're all independent fighters. We're all independent contractors. So really, I should be able to wear whatever the hell I want. I'm not part of it. And one of the things that kind of makes you, if you're not a independent contractor, is if you have to wear a uniform for work. And technically, they're making you wear Reebok. So technically, I'm not an independent. There's so many little loopholes and
I remember
things going on there.
The Fight Week packages came out. Remember the fight kit? How hideous most of it was.
There was one that was really bad, and my buddy Denox, who he's our head designer at Muay Legends, he used to work for Reebok, and he was. He just designed Conor McGregor shirts and a bunch of stuff he was doing. He still works on the side for them, but when he was working for Reebok, he was like, it was horrible just because none of these people were into MMA or anything like that. So, they would throw him, and they actually printed out some of these shirts, and it was instead of Gilbert Melendez, it was Gilbert Melendez. All these spelling errors, and just so, half-assed thrown together it was. He was like, I couldn't handle it.
Well, when I saw the shorts, I think they're still using them. They look like they have stains on them.
Probably.
But they don't. But it's because I was talking to one of the guys that fights for him, and I was like, what is that white blotchiness that's on these shorts? And he's like, oh, that's the way they're made. But it's so random. It looks like dried sweat. Every time I've looked at it, I'm like, it looks like they've and they're all different. Everybody's shorts seem to look different. So I'm like, did that guy just sweat his ass off and it's dried in the back? What is this? Is just ugly looking.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Reebok.
I don't like Reebok shoes. But
that too, right? I never really liked I had maybe one pair of Reeboks back in the day.
Reebok pumps?
I had pumps, and then I definitely had a pair of, going to hardcore shows, when the kids were really wearing the running Sauconys, and they were big, and New Balance.
Yeah, we always had... Yeah,
the runners
had Adidas.
Yeah, and there was Adidas ones. Yeah, everybody. But so I had one pair of them, but never again.
All Adidas, and then when I moved away from Adidas, now I just rock Puma Classics.
Which is funny. My guy Denox, he now works for Puma, and he says it's great over there. They're good people. Yeah, I mean, like I said, coming from Reebok, he was just so excited to work with us because he was like, we're like, hey, this is it. Design the shirt. Do whatever the hell you want. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah. Because when he was at Reebok, it was just all right, cool. How many times am I going to have to do a Ronda Rousey shirt or the Pitbull, barbed wire? He's like, I hate it.
Yeah.
So for him, this creative freedom it's something that he's like,
old Affliction style shirts.
yeah, well, that too. Yeah, the Affliction stuff.
That
But yeah,
stuff was-
going back to it, guys were sponsored by Affliction or whatever those other couple brands that were like that, and were making money for
well,
wearing.
well, then the guys started brands too, so it
Yeah.
was like,
That was another thing. Yeah, guys were like, wait, if I'm doing it, like, okay. I think Rich Franklin really started it when he did like American Fighter.
yeah. Who did Randy have? Is he part of Extreme Couture? Like, was that?
Randy was Affliction, and then I believe he kind of had his own like Extreme Couture kind of shirts like that.
I know that's like the gym, but it's like, yeah, he had, and they look just like Affliction shirts.
Yeah, but that was like his own brand too. Like, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Extreme Couture, like its own. And then and all the jeans. I remember they were wearing jeans. They sold jeans for a while.
Yep.
Yep.
Good stuff. Like, I don't know. I've never had $100 pair of jeans. So I don't know.
That's true.
What else have you been up to? Fighting's on hold. Training's barely.
Fighting's
there.
on hold. Like, we I've been staying busy at the gym. I live close to the gym, so I kind of pop in and pop out, and I do some private lessons at the gym, and then we do a little small group classes at night. But really, a lot of people are still afraid to come out, and we're just waiting for the big okay to open up completely.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, the gym that I'm at in Brooklyn, it's a smaller gym, and we're just trying to keep our head above water without trying to.
That's insane.
Make a noise. Like, it's I was there yesterday, not yesterday, a couple months ago, and there's a hardware store that's next to us, and he's actually owns the building that we rent from, so we're friendly with him, and we pop in and out and get stuff. And we went in there, and one day we had our masks on, and it was one of his customers didn't have a mask on, or his mask wasn't worn properly, and some guy came right inside and wrote him a $1,500 check, $1,500 ticket on the spot, just because one of his customers had like the face mask was just a little like nose was hanging out. It's a bunch of old guys too, so they're probably like, fuck this, like they were they're pretty old school like that, but like boom, just like that, $1,500 fine. So we're not messing around. I'm not really trying to make any kind of trouble, but I'm just trying to work a little and pay the bills for now until everything opens back up, and get some word from Lion Fight if I'm going to fight before August, or even if August is going to happen, because that's where we're going to be. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, we got banned from Massachusetts, and I'm 10 minutes from the state line.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I don't know.
I mean, we couldn't drive, across the state line, and it's like, this stuff is insane. Did you do a movie?
Yeah, I did actually. Jeez, yeah, I got a whole thing. Yeah, I did do a movie. So, yeah, if you've seen, we've been promoting it through Muay Thai Gram. Actually, about 4 years ago, one of my clients, and we became a good friend, he just started training me, and he's like, dude, I love this. And he's like, I'm writing a movie about this, or I'm writing a movie. I'm like, cool. People come, this is New York. I get this shit all the time.
I'm sure.
Good luck with that. Like, hey, cool, I'll see you next week to train. He's like, no, it's going to happen. And he's like, we're going to fly out. We're going to film in Thailand. We're filming all over the place. I have a script. And, like, it just started the momentum going. And he had, Zoe Bell, DB Sweeney, some pretty, like, these are actors I know. So I'm like, okay, maybe this guy isn't blowing smoke up my ass here. Like, this is really, so it turns out we did a full feature movie. It was his first actual full-length movie. We filmed in Thailand, Greece, LA, and it actually was a really fun experience. It comes out January 29th on Apple TV. But I mean, we have a bunch of we've got a ton of people in it. Sanchez in it. Can't really go into detail too much, but you have to check it out. But it's just a fun, it's kind of like a beat 'em up movie, but it's definitely like it's a drama too. I mean,
oh, nice.
It's cool. It's interesting, man. It's super weird. I wasn't completely into seeing myself on film on like the screen. Like I don't, I can see myself fight. I get punched all the time, but like trying to act normal and acting is completely different.
I got to do, I don't know, a while ago a fight scene in a movie.
Sure.
Poor boy. It was like straight to DVD or whatever. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But I got to do a fight scene, and that was awesome. Like they had hit up the gym when I was still at Vandalays, and they were like, "Do you have some guys that could come down?" This is like I was competing jiu-jitsu like every other week, and I was like, I'm in good shape. Let's go do this. And I went down with another one of our fighters, and it was cool because we got to choreograph our own scene. Like
Sure.
they gave us a stunt man, but they were like the stunt coordinator, but they were like, well, we don't know what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
And it was like a backyard pit fighting scene.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was illegal gambling, and we were the fighters. It was pretty cool.
So it's
And,
you know what, going back to that, it's super interesting. Like the woman in Haymaker, Zoe Bell. Are you familiar with her? She was in a bunch of Tarantino movies. She played Uma Thurman basically. She did all the stunts for her in Kill Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So she knows what she's doing with stunts, and she brought on, not only is she in the movie, but she's the stunt coordinator for the movie. And just learning, because she would coordinate the stunts with us for the fight scenes and all that, and then learning how like normal stuff I do in fighting doesn't translate to film ever. She's like, no,
we had that problem.
You got to punch like this in the fist, and I'm like, that's a haymaker. That's garbage. I would never throw that. She's like, but that's what looks good, and I'm like, that makes total sense though, right? So like, it has to be this dramatized thing because people, you know, being a fighter, like, oh, I understand what's going on, but it's like, so like, you know, throwing haymakers and filming the stunts, I learned a lot, and she was really cool to work with, and it was just something cool and new, you know?
Yeah. When we did it, like that's what we had the problem is, they're like, oh yeah, go like 30%, and we're like, well, we have to make this up, so we kind of like put together, you know, like what you would do in sparring, and then like kind of something flashy at the end, and so we did this normal striking. Somehow I don't remember even how it went, but like I took him down or something like that, or swept him, and he comes back at me, and I'm like, come on, and he runs, and he does like a full-on like Muay Thai, like steps on my knee and knees me in the face, and then I fall, and he grabs my head, and he's like, they get like super close, and he's like slamming my head into the ground, and the first time he jumped with the knee, he clipped my head, and I was bleeding, and we just went again, and they're like, whoa, you're bleeding, and I'm like, so, and then we were doing the scene on the ground, and he's like really slamming my head. And so I had to figure, like, my head was hitting this mulch, and I was like, all right, well, I can throw my arm under, and he could slam my head into my arm. But it was like we had to figure all that out, and the people were like, we said 30%, and we're like, we hit each other for real. Like, we don't get this concept.
That was the thing too, like when they were telling us, like, you know, you don't have to go super hard, but I'm like, I want to make it look good, and I know what I can do and what I can handle. I ended up breaking one of the co-stars' ribs. No joke. Filming, I broke his rib with a knee, and he's like, "Oh, my rib hurts." I'm like, "Dude, you're fine. Let's just get this stuff." You know, a week later, this co-star, he gets back to LA, and he sends me the X-ray. I saw him the X-ray. Just his broken rib, and I was just like, we filmed like 4 more hours after I broke that rib. I'm like, I'm pretty impressed that he even like lasted that long with a broken rib. But it was super cool. Like we did this movie, and I got together all my friends kind of like in the industry. Like we worked with In Fight Style.
Okay.
They did all the gloves and the costumes for the movie. I brought out Crew Walter from Sit Your Tongue LA. He was in the movie. And then we went to Thailand. We worked with a bunch of friends out in Thailand, and gyms that we, you know, have reputation with, or and we're friends with. You know, we're like, I want to help my friends and elevate them, and maybe it'd be on the big screen, or who knows what's going to happen. But this thing's getting some steam, and it's going to be on iTunes January 29th for like on demand. There's a couple USA Today articles about it, so it's really cool. Like, I'm excited. I'm nervous at the same time too, because I don't. You know.
That's like uncharted territory. I mean, what was the last real Muay Thai movie I watched? Muay Thai Giant. Have you watched that?
I've always seen that on Netflix, and it's like
hilarious.
I'm not that desperate. Like, I didn't hit rock bottom yet. But
it's awesome.
I did see A Prayer Before the Dawn.
Yeah, we had Billy on, and we had technical difficulties and lost the episode. But we got his firsthand story, and it was insane.
I actually want to pick up the book.
The book, I actually read the book before the movie came out, because they were postponing the movie for a while. Sure. And I read the book, and the book was super interesting. And then you watch the movie, and you're like, man, unfortunately, movies are so streamlined, you know, like you have to get to the point, and so they embellished a lot of things too.
Sure.
As like he was telling us, I hate that we lost that episode. He was telling us stories about being in the jail, and I was like, so you saw a lot of bad stuff, and he's like, yeah. And I go, like, what was the worst thing you saw? And he said the scariest thing that I saw in there is because he got back on drugs and everything once he got into jail. He said the scariest thing I saw was I was in my little spot one night, and this guy was running by, another guy was chasing him, another guy jumps up, hits him with a chair, and they killed him, like in front of me. And I looked, and the drug boss was standing on the other side of them looking at me, and he said, because he owed him money.
Oh,
and he's like, he goes, that was terrifying. And then, but in the movie, how he gets involved with the ladyboy.
Yeah. He's
like, I never did that. Because I didn't go that route, but that made it a good look for the movie. He goes, but they never interested me, you know. Right. I was like, I get it, but he would tell us like the stories about it, and it was just insane, the stuff that he really went through. If you read the book, it gives like the whole backstory of how he even got on the drugs. You know, he really only got arrested for stolen cell phones. That's what he got arrested for. like all the drugs and everything he got away with. So he was very interesting.
How many years was he supposed to do, or was he doing?
Oh, I don't even.
A couple of years or something. I can't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I don't know. I just remember. Long. I just remember watching that movie, and I'm like, I'm never committing a crime in Thailand ever again. It scared the shit out of me.
Well, when I first was going to go, and I was like, they have a death penalty for drugs? I'm like, is that real? And then I guess they don't do it, but yes, you're like sentenced to death for large drugs. Or again, if you can pay your way out of it, you're fine.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. I mean, right? You can really kind of do pretty much what you want to do as long as you have money on you.
So like, I don't even remember where I heard it, but I was reading something about like, if you're drug trafficking, to get out of it, if you pay the value of the drugs that you're trafficking, you can get it dismissed. And I'm thinking, all right. And I was there, and I remember there was as they were transporting a lot of yaba from up north, the methamphetamines, and the husband and wife farmer got busted, and it was under like pig shit or cow shit or whatever the fuck it was in their bed of their truck, and they got busted. It was like a truckload of methamphetamine, and I'm like, well, this makes sense. That's why you're all going to go to jail, because you are doing it because you're poor.
Right.
You're not already rich, and the guy that's rich doesn't ever touch it. You know, so it's like, it's horrible. You know, yeah, you could get out, but no one that's going to move the drugs is ever going to have the money to get out.
Yeah,
it's true. Crazy. Too. But yeah, he was super interesting. He's got his own podcast now. I'm not even. I haven't followed it, and very interesting podcast. He's an interesting guy.
Is it about fighting? Is it about fighting in the sport, or no, just whatever the hell he wants to?
Yeah, I think whatever he wants. I haven't really listened to it yet. He did the boxing. He didn't do Muay Thai, which is weird. Like, I didn't know that was a difference, but like of what they did in prison.
Yeah.
And then he didn't do much of it. Like, he got hurt really bad, so he didn't do much of it at all. And which is crazy, because you saw the documentary, the prison fights, right?
Yeah.
So you saw that, and then that was my impression of what he was going to be going through, and it's not really anything that he really
went through. It was, a little embellished or whatever.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the book is amazing, and then when I started, like, I read his book, and then I read a few other ones about being in prison in Bangkok that are in horrible like things that go on, and it's like, yep, I don't ever want to do anything wrong in Thailand. Everybody's like, yeah, but nah, I'm not going to get caught by that one guy doing something stupid. It's like, no, you're going to jail forever.
Did you see A Prayer Before the Dawn or whatever?
Yeah. And what's really cool is you don't notice it when you watch it, but he was telling us that they
wait,
something with
Only God Forgives. That's what I was talking about, right?
What's that?
No, the other
Well,
Muay Thai movie with what's his face? The guy from Drive.
The new one?
Only God Forgives. It was done with the guy who did Drive. You know the
Oh, I
movie
don't know.
Drive. With what's
Yeah,
his face? Why can't I think of him right now? Not Jake Gyllenhaal. Jesus.
I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't watched any other Muay Thai movies.
drawing a blank. No, yeah, this was good. It was decent. It was super like noir and artsy the way it was shot.
Yeah,
God damn it. Give me a second. Now
yeah.
I gotta Google it. But you should check it out. It's pretty decent. It's shot like I said, super artsy.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
You ever saw that Ryan Gosling movie?
No.
Oh, it's called yeah, Only God Forgives. Check it out. It's all right. Like I said, it's super artsy. Some people like it. I like it visually. I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but yeah, it takes place in Thailand. He's like a crime boss
I
dealing with
like
that.
anything in Thai. I might have watched it. I don't know. I watch anything that has to do with Thailand.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the same thing here. Yeah.
Like it's like because I love seeing like the same thing when I lived in Vegas. Like if something's filmed in Vegas, you're like, yeah, I go there. I know where that is. Like you
Yeah.
kind of.
Same thing
But
like watching the Irishman.
Mhm.
A lot of that was filmed in the neighborhood we live in.
Oh, no
Holy
shit.
Yeah, so all over. But yeah, that's similar too. Like anything that's like filmed in Thailand, I eat it up.
Yeah, I just
I
wanted.
mean,
I
I
was like,
even
oh, I know where that is. Oh, that's not really there. Like that kind of shit.
have you started watching any like actual Thai movies or no?
I think I watched the Ghost Tower one only because I've been there a few times. It's like,
There's one, I think it's called Pimak.
uh-huh.
Uh, it's like a well-known horror movie out there. It's like a horror comedy. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Pimak. There's a bunch of them on Netflix.
I'll
Yeah,
have to check it out. Yeah, well,
check them out.
when my VPN was through Thailand, like all my YouTube and everything would come up with Thai stuff.
Yeah, that
And it
happens.
was like,
For some reason, when I come home, like I'll come back from Thailand, and for like the next 6 months, everything on my phone is in Thai.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm getting like Thai news and things like that. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
yeah.
Anything else going on?
No, like I said, full speed ahead. Like not so much working in the gym, but working outside of the gym. A lot of stuff going on. Muay Thai Gram with Instagram, and trying to get a YouTube page going. But we're doing like 3 different things at once. It's
Right.
just those things take time. You have a YouTube page?
Yeah, I got like 100 videos on my YouTube page. My best one so far is when I went and trained with Supergirl.
Yep.
I learned their knee, and
I just
like,
posted actually this morning. I posted a instructional she just released on how to knee, like her style. Yeah, just
check out my video. Like I
Were you with her
believe
at her dad's place?
Yeah.
At her dad's place, right?
Yep. Yeah, and like so I went and trained with Supergirl, and then Wonder Girl was actually there, and I didn't know it because she had just signed to Fairtex.
Yep.
And it was right before a holiday. Oh my God, getting like the whole thing was like a disaster because I had scheduled it because I was training like when I would go in and out, I would go through Bangkok. So anybody I wanted to train with in Bangkok, I would schedule their training between when I was coming in and out because I was only in Pattaya. Like I could jump on a bus too, but so I was like, I saw her video like a long time ago before they had broken out, and she was 16, 15, something like that when I trained with her. But I trained with her and her dad. Her mom was there. Like it was super late, so as it was, I don't know, something was happening in Bangkok. It took me 4 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It was like an hour away, and so I'm talking to her dad the whole time, and he's like, "Oh, no problem, no problem." And so I get there, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and so I started training with them, and basically I just wanted to learn their knee because like if I do a private with someone, I like other than just a training, I do a private. I'm like I train with someone that I either like Samar or Sagat, or like when I trained with Manichai, I was like I just want to learn your low kick.
Low kick.
So it's like kind of I like if I'm gonna train with somebody that's a fighter, I don't necessarily want them to train me because from my experience, fighters aren't the best trainers. So if I want a training, I'm gonna go get their trainer, which is usually like a quarter of what it costs to train with them.
Of course,
but so like that's what I did is I hit them up and I was like I want to learn just that, and so they broke it down like super I broke it down in the video too. I mean, it seems it's very clear to how it works, and while you're looking at it, you're like, "What the fuck?" Like how does that really? How is because they do it so flawlessly? It's like I don't know how the movements work, but then once they break it down and explain it, and her dad was super nice. Like he's a teacher, and you could communicate with all of them really well. I got a bunch of pictures with all of them.
That's nice.
But that was really cool to go over there.
It is funny, like you're saying, going back, like when you go out there and you're like, you want to do private, it's like the difference in price between like a private with like Sanchai and then Sanchai's pad holder. Like completely. I'd imagine he's probably still expensive, but yeah.
He's not.
No, he's cheaper. Yeah.
Was it Jack? Right? Isn't
probably.
It? It's I believe it's Singdom's brother is their trainer. No, he's not expensive at all. I think maybe 2,000. And Sanchai's 8,000 now. Yeah. Or last time I was there.
I had some good training with his pad man and Simbi. When Sanchai was at Simbi, his pad guy, this guy Wang, he actually passed away unfortunately a couple of years ago. But I got to do some lessons with him. He was great. It was awesome working with him, and he just like freestyle pad work and like taught me some stuff. But other than that, he was just a great like pad holder and trainer.
And that's how like I developed my pad holding style. It's all the Thai freestyle type pad holding. Like I don't, I can't tell someone to do a combo that's 10 strikes long and
choreographed Instagram.
Like, pad porn they call it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I started doing it that way.
Yeah,
I started doing it that way, and anybody that I did privates and everything, they're like, wow, this is totally different. Like I had fighters that were reaching out to me around here, and they're like, hey, can you come hold pads? And I'm like, yeah. So I went and hold pads. He's like, all the stuff you're saying and doing, it all makes sense. And I'm like, that's Muay Thai. Like I'm not telling you to do anything. And it's crazy. I worked with some MMA fighters, and to the concept of elbows in an MMA fighter, like they know they can throw elbows, but they don't really work elbows unless they come from Muay Thai. So then when you start going, all right, so if you've grabbed him and you're this close to the elbows right there, it's always right in the area. They're like, oh. And then they start, wow. And I'm like, I'd rather hit you with my elbow than my hand. I mean, especially in 4-ounce gloves, you know? So that's a cool difference is like when you start seeing it, but the pad holding style.
Yeah.
It's a give and take. So you give out so much energy and then you get that back. Like if I hated when I was running classes and you give them their combo. So everyone's at least you're trying to see if they can freaking do it.
Of course.
And they're doing it and you have a pad holder. It's like, or the swatting at them and just relax. And that's the thing is once you relax and move, you're like, and there's an interaction.
Yeah. I actually do privates with clients or students just to teach them how to hold pads. Like this whole time, we're gonna spend a whole hour on you actually learning how to hold pads. I'm like, you actually hitting the pads, we can fix that during class. I can adjust it. But if you're a shitty pad holder, you're gonna hold back the whole class, or your partner isn't gonna get a good workout. You don't want to be that guy that everybody is like, hey, partner up, and they run away from you because you can't hold pads. So my big thing is like learn how to hold pads, and then as we're going along, obviously we're learning Muay Thai at the same time. But I mean, it's very important to have a good base with pad holding. And the same thing, like I have a similar approach. It's very freestyle oriented when I teach, but during class we'll do a specified combination, 4 strikes at most. I'm not talking about like flip, look around, like none of that shit. But it's super. Like my thing is like if you don't hear me talking and we're hitting pads, that's good because it's less like, and you're just doing it. You're throwing it, I'm catching it, or you understand what I'm doing because we're clicking on that level. I don't have to explain. And it's the same thing when you go to Thailand. These guys, some of them don't speak English, but we're communicating on the pads, and it's working out perfect.
And that's how I try to explain it. I'm like, I'm not gonna call shots. You're gonna see the pad, and I'll probably make a noise. If you see where the pad is, you should know. And then I had, and another thing that I had with some fighters is they hesitate and they get load up, and I'm like, if I put the pad up, that's your opening. Like you have to go. If you see the pad, that's your shot. And I understand what you're doing is you're making sure your technique is right, but think of it as you saw the opening when the target flipped.
That's my old trainer was just like that. He put it up, and whether I was tired, I wasn't paying attention, and then I'd finally see it, and I'd go for it. He put it down before I even get there because he'd be like, "You missed it."
Yeah, and
Like,
that's the thing is we get so used to, and then you get used to the guy that just is already here, and you're like, but no. When I was running all the classes, 4 to 5 at the most, like, and that was like, I like 3 to 4 combo, like, and then I didn't number them, and I was very unorthodox compared to most of the trainers and things like that.
I've been holding pads for close to 15 years now and teaching, and like I still don't have a number system. Like people are like, I'm like, yeah, I get there's like a jab. I'll say maybe 1. It's a cross, maybe 2, a hook, 3. Other than that, I have no numbers after that. I'm like, throw 10, 16, 42. I'm like, oh, what is it? Like uppercut, cross. I'm like, I don't get that. Just hold it and say uppercut. Like everybody's different, but yeah, I was never really into having this like super system of like numbers and stuff. But it works for some people. Going to MMA, if you see a guy like Frankie Edgar's coach, Mark Henry. I got to train with him a lot because when I was training with Phil Nurse, Frankie would come in and train a lot, so we'd all get to spar and stuff. And that guy is just like a computer, like just completely studies the game, and like he's like, all right, Frankie, 45, 64, they have a whole language of it. I respect it and it works for them, but for me, I'm still just like bro kick, right cross. Like, I don't know, very simple. But that's Muay Thai. I think it's simpler.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I fell in love with is like, because when I started training, I had a Brazilian Muay Thai coach at Vanderlei's, and I learned, I guess, the Brazilian style, which was very heavy combos. Like you're talking like 12 strikes, and it's like, and I had students that had trained other places, and they're like, yeah, but we did this, and this, so many strikes, and I'm like, what happened if you got hit?
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of your grand combo. What if you got hit? What if the guy moved out of range? Like, what do you do?
What if the guy just moved away?
Like, what do you do with that? Like, do you just finish your combo? I mean, I always trained him for the strikes. Like, you need to learn the strikes, and you need to learn how they work.
Right.
And it's the same thing. Training jiu-jitsu is like, I know what works where. I don't know that the progression. Like I know what presents it to me, and that's what we go with. But other than that, like, I loved training people, but it's like now that we don't train anybody really. You know? And it's just sucks. Everything that's going on.
Well, like I said, the only positive to take away from this time is like you were able to work on yourself a little, and like I said, you were able to get some things going that you wanted to do that you probably had on the back burner, and now you have all this time and no excuses to be like, oh, I have a real job now. No, it's same thing here. I do 5-6 lessons a day, 7 days, 6 to 7 days a week, and then I'm still trying to do the Muay Thai Gram stuff and the Knock Muay Legends. Now all that's out, so there's no excuse. So we've just been working our balls off, just getting stuff out. And it's been paying off. I mean, like I said, the only thing we could take away from this is like we really were allowed like time to really concentrate on Knock Muay Legends and Muay Thai Grab because, I mean, the future is on the internet now. I mean, that's everybody. That's how we're communicating right now.
Exactly.
We were talking in person right now. We both have a mask on or be 6 feet away. It'd be a mess, right? Yeah. But now you can do that. And now you can pay and you could do a lesson or pick Liam Harrison's brain, on the other side of the world. Just through the computer and stuff. So the future is there, and I think a lot of people need to kind of really start preparing for that.
So like anybody that hasn't heard the previous episode that we did, just what is Knock Muay Legends? Like just kind of give them a breakdown. Like,
oh, it's our apparel company we've had for I believe 5 or 6 years now. Originally the concept was, I liked the idea of t-shirts honoring a certain person or like a signature t-shirt, kind of like Roots of Fight. Do you ever see Roots of Fight type stuff? They did like a Bruce Lee, George St. Pierre. They did like Andre the Giant, or they did always cool, whether pop culture people or, some people in different sports. But us, I was like, why is nobody doing this for Muay Thai? And at the same time, I could do this and we could pay the athletes. And we're just putting money back into the sport because, not a lot of people are dumping money into the sport, but they just want to take money. So we're really trying to build the brand, take care of, some of the legends, the people who are athletes, and spread the word and just make some really cool looking shit that we personally like. Because I thought for a while, the design level in any kind of combat sport was shit. Like I said, it would just you throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks. I already got a pit bull, chain link fence. These Canadians throw Canadian flag, and boom, there you go, you got it. But no, we're actually researching. We're talking to the fighters like Kang Sak. What do you like? Well, Tiger. Okay, cool. We're coming up with your own design. You're gonna be like Tiger. Like we're really work with them and put out something that we're happy with. And at the same time, it seems like other people are happy, and we're still here. We're not making a shit ton of money, but we're doing something we love, and I feel like we're kind of giving back, and we're also providing work for other people. I mean, hopefully, another couple clothing companies come around, and that just means that's more money. It's competition for us. There's more money coming into the sport. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been making shirts for, like I said, 5 years now, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be picking up even more athletes. But right now we work with like a core group of athletes. I mean, it's a dream that I was able to fly across the country and be like, oh, I'm working with Samat, we're making a shirt for you. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, definitely.
And be able to work with Diesel Noy, Ken Sack, it's awesome. So it's really cool. And like I said, I'm kind of giving these guys hopefully they can make some money, or at least pay them for their service and their time, rather than just stealing their image or their ideas or something like that, throwing on a shirt and being like, yeah, I did this. Like, yeah. So I just feel like these guys they deserve money and recognition, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't remember. I do remember kind of like being on the outside of Muay Thai, and then now that I'm in it, you kind of can't see the outside. Like you're like, it's just there's so much. Like the people that are involved, the history, there's so much to it, and then it's like, man, remember when you were outside the bubble and you're like, yeah, that's Muay Thai. With the headbandy thing.
The broken tennis racket, and then you would just know, like, I mean, there's still people out there. I mean, people's understanding of Muay Thai is like Saenchai. He's a great fighter, and obviously he's kind of like, you talk to MMA fighters who they're not like hardcore Muay Thai enthusiasts. Like, yeah, Saenchai, like, yeah, you get it, but there's so much more to that, and there's so many different levels. Go watch the guys from the late 80s, the early 90s, where it was like, some of the best fights you'll ever see. These guys weren't fighting for just points. They were fighting, obviously, for money and stuff, but they were trying to knock each other out. I mean, the game has evolved and changed in the past 10, 15 years. Where was I going with that? Yeah, it's just being on the outside and seeing in. And my big thing, too, was like, if I'm going to be involved, in the sport, hopefully for the rest of my life, like, I've got to adjust and I've got to get involved behind the scenes. I got to learn how promotions work and businesses, fighter, apparel, gear, all those things, if I want some kind of future, because you can't fight forever. And some people aren't built to be a teacher or have their own gym.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't opened up my own gym yet, just because I'm like, I like that I can go in and I teach a couple private lessons. I teach class. I get a paycheck, but I don't have to worry about the plumbing in the building. I don't have to worry about who's signing up, who owes money. Like, so I don't know if owning a gym is my thing yet, because I've seen it for years. People struggle. It's a struggle. So I'm looking at other avenues, and social media, Muay Thai Grant, apparel, Knock Muay Legends. Hopefully, it all pays off.
And so Muay Thai Graham, tell me a little more about that. Like, obviously, like we've talked about it, but like people that have no clue.
It's just we picked it up a year ago, and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Muay Thai only Instagram page, and we picked it up, and we really wanted to turn it into, really monetizing and making it a legit business. We're reposting stuff that, like I reposted something that Supergirl did this morning, but also we're working on making our own original content. We're not just reposting all the time. And that's the big thing. We're doing interviews. I really want it to be almost like the one-stop Muay Thai page where you can get news, some funny memes or whatever, or interesting, it could be anything, Thai language recipes. We're really trying to make it a whole big package. We've been working on that, and one of the things is working with younger fighters and helping them out start their careers or keeping them going when they're fighting abroad in Thailand.
Yeah.
We're trying to cover everything, but just being involved in the sport, we love it, and you want to live Muay Thai, go to that page, you'll see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like my goal. I don't know, I'm still working on trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to do it, but like once I get back, obviously I want to stay again. Like I wasn't supposed to be here. Like I don't have a house here in the States.
Yeah.
Like I stay with my sister, and it's like, well, you're gonna be here for 2 years. Oh, what the fuck? I was supposed to be here for 2 months. And so, but so when I go back, like my in my head, what I want to do is obviously keep building content for Fight Chase, but I also want to. So what I want to do is, I need to find some sort of sponsor, and bring them on, and I want to be able to keep doing what I'm doing. Like I do all the gym reviews, all the training reviews when I go to a different gym, how much it cost me, where you could stay, where I stayed, that type of thing. So I know there's other people that have done it, but I don't know how they get their information.
There was sorry to cut you off. There was a great web page. I don't know I think it's not there anymore, but it's called Muay Thailand. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was like, wasn't that one of the original like gym reviews and everything?
So that's what I wanted, because I do it on my own. Like I pay for everything on my own. I just go in there and train where I want to train. And I've had people say, hey, what about this gym? And I'll go train there and do a review. But my goal would be to, when I go back, to do 52 weeks, 52 gyms. Like I want to be able to go to a new gym every week, do a review, put the content out. And I think that would be like, for me, if I didn't jump in head first like I did into going to Thailand, and within 3 years being basically moved to Thailand, I have people hit me up all the time. How do you go there? We've done episodes on it. What gyms? Okay, what is your goal? Like, what kind of gym do you want? Do you want a Tiger Muay Thai? Do you want a 13 coins? Are you looking for Fairtex? Or like, do you need to be near the beach? Do you want to be in Bangkok? Do you want to see Sanchai when you train? Like, what is, like, I've seen these things, and I think, like, I want to go out to, the country. I want to train at different gyms that people have never heard of, and give that exposure and things like that. So I want to keep doing it, because I can't say I'm not going to be, because eventually another avenue that I want to do is I want to find, I was talking to my buddy Khalil, and obviously he's based in Thailand now. So when I get back, I was like, I want to fight. Okay. So I want to fight. I competed jiu-jitsu for a long time. I trained with pro fighters, like stand-up and everything, and MMA and everything, but I want a fight. So I want to document the whole process. And I think that there's almost no better time than when I'm in the worst shape of my life. Right. So when I get back, to actually document the whole process, from landing back in Bangkok to teaming up with a professional fighter that kicks my ass every day, to finding whatever gym I'm going to be at and take a fight. And it's another whole nother avenue that I want to do. And then there's like, I have a network, especially with you guys now too. I have friends that are fighters. I have friends that are UFC fighters. They all scatter around and end up, visiting Thailand at these times. And I think that it would be also, aside from me just doing personal gym reviews, is to also have the professional athlete with me and be like, hey, Khalil, hey, Brett, you're in town. Let's go over to this gym, and then give the two, opposites, not opposites, but like the two, sides of the spectrum of, a hobbyist trainer point of view of a gym, and then the professional athlete, and then kind of compare and give like the scheme of what you could get out of the gyms that I visit. So that's like, in my head, I have all this stuff processing, and I'm like, well, it just takes somebody some money, to make it happen.
That is a great idea, though. Like I said, because that one page we were talking about, it's no longer there, and there was a ton of information on there.
Yes.
And I think that's somewhere where you could pick up, and now you don't have to do it on a website. You can just do it on a social media, right? I mean, it really, not a lot of people use websites anymore anyway. I mean, where do I go for news? I mean, unfortunately, I can scroll through Facebook or Instagram and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea and whenever you decide to do it and you start getting them going, pass them our way. We could do like even just like a little weekly, your gym review on Muay Thai and repost it. I mean, that'd be great. But like you said, right, it's gonna take a little money, gear. You got to figure out all the logistics behind that,
Like,
right?
just money,
Yeah.
like because like Yakao actually sponsors me. So every time I get into Thailand, I stop by there, I do a gear review, and then I have new gear.
Right.
So, I mean, they've done that every time I've gone into Thailand, which is dope. I get to train there. I've trained at their gym. I have a sponsorship training with Fight Chase for them, so I can go in there and train at the gym. And as long as it's not a private, they sponsored me for doing that, to train there. I did a lot of privates. I did like Singdam and Manichai and stuff like that over there, which is fun. But, so it's like just to be able to supplement the cost. It's not like I don't want to be rich. That's why I got rid of my business. I had a custom car business in Las Vegas. I mean, I was driving Lamborghinis around and shit. So it's like, I got rid of that to do Thailand. And it's like, I just want to find that niche of that someone that needs to be like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. And then, I mean, it could obviously blow up and make money if there was a weekly gym review on YouTube of all these obscure gyms in Thailand,
Now that would be cool. Like, obviously, I've seen a bunch of videos on the bigger gyms, but like going out to like Isan and just finding gyms,
exactly.
That would be really cool and interesting, and it helps them out. Maybe, who knows?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I'd love to get up, up, like I said, up north, not Chiang Mai. I mean, that's great, and there's lots of great gyms, but like, just where do you train? Like, I was supposed to train at, was it Yapu 9, Singdam's old gym.
Okay.
It's in Buryeon, and I was over there. I went to a soccer game, a football match.
For United, right?
Yeah. I went to a game over there just for the hell of it. And,
did you go to that stadium?
Yeah.
That stadium. Don't they have? Do they still have the Muay Thai gym underneath it?
They have a gym there, but I don't know. It wasn't open when I was there, but it was like, it kind of was more like a novelty. I don't know. I don't know who comes out of it or anything like that.
I remember seeing it though. Like, it was like maybe 2 years ago. I think they just built it, but it was like, there's an actual Muay Thai gym, whether it's underneath the stadium or at the stadium.
It's underneath. Like, I mean, the stadium is amazing and beautiful, but they have like kind of buildings and stuff like underneath the bleacher parts. They have a skate park there. They have it like out front in the parking lot. There's like a whole section to skate park. So they have like a bunch of like crazy stuff going on. But yeah, I went up there, but that was another gym, and everybody's like, well, I couldn't really find any information on it other than it's strictly like a fighter's gym.
Yeah.
But you can go train there.
Sure.
So it's like, why? I mean, obviously, there's people that find their gyms. We had Sylvie on, and she was amazing to have on, and this work that she does with the legends is amazing. But she trains, but even her training is like she finds her gyms, where I kind of want to be like the gym nomad, like and that's Fight Chase. I'm chasing the fight. So I just want to. That's my goal. Is I'd like to be able to do that. And I mean, I have some people that are interested, but it's like everybody's wishy-washy, especially with money these days. It's
Well, nothing's certain right now either. Right.
Yeah,
we could go out. You could go out, and next thing you know, they could get closed down again. And you'll stay next time. You're not coming home now, right?
No. I had a business opportunity lined up that would have fucked me. Like when this all shut down. Yeah, like
was
in
one
Thailand.
Of those deals, it was one of those deals where you're like, I'm glad I didn't take that deal.
Yeah, and the guy that I was going to do it with, super nice guy, and was all on board, and he hesitated just a week long enough.
Yeah.
And then all hell broke loose, and I'm like, wow, okay. Like, I would have
narrowly escaped that one.
Yeah. It's because, like I said, I don't like to reach out to people for money or anything like that. Like, it's not like, even like sponsorship. I usually, because I don't need anything, I just do product. Like, oh yeah, we'll do exchange product, whether it's reviews or anything like that. But again, that doesn't always, it's not going to pay the bills.
Right. A lot of people, I think, for podcasts, and sometimes we do on Muay Thai Gram, we're trying to figure out that whole avenue also, but, like affiliate type stuff where, you sell that you could sell Manscaped product, use this code Fight Chase, and then you get a certain percentage of people who actually purchase it.
And that's
another
easy
way.
enough to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get that in line for our sponsored fighters.
Mhm.
I mean, I got them some supplements, and hopefully, they can, extra $60 to $100 a week. It goes a long way in Thailand when you're fighting.
Oh God, yeah.
So that will help them out. And then I got them all custom mouth guards from Gladiator coming out soon. So
Oh,
we're working with a
nice.
couple companies, so it's nice to be able to help out.
Defense soap has been great. I work with
I
Defense soap.
I heard Kevin talking about them. I think.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Kevin just got. He's been sponsored by them for a while too, and they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Thailand. I trained at every grimy gym that I could, and I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
So
I'll
I
be
was
honest. The only time I see like staff and stuff popping up now is like any gym that has like MMA in it, like like Tiger. A lot of like when I was staying down in Phuket, I didn't have any problems at Simbi, but like I see some other guys at some of these other gyms.
Tiger had it, yeah.
Staff all over himself and
Yep.
on top of their motorcycle road rash,
Yeah.
it's just,
I got bit by something in Phuket. I got bit on my leg, like something.
cross my fingers. I've been very lucky when I've been traveling out there not to have any kind of like never got sick, no accidents, nothing like smooth sailing.
I got the food poisoning once. Thought I was gonna die.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I got bronchitis in Phuket because of a dirty air conditioner. And that was weird because I was like fine training and I was like all of a sudden I got sick, and it was crazy is because when I went and I was like I'm sick, I need to postpone my training at Top Team, and Lordzilla was also sick, and he was like, yeah, I have the same thing. I'm like, oh, so everyone here has it. I'm like, great. So maybe it wasn't just that, you're training with all these people, but defense soap, really good guy, and like he hooked me up. I did some giveaways and stuff like that back in the day with him.
Okay.
I haven't hit him up. I hit him up recently because I kind of want to get back on that and do the affiliate program because I used to have an affiliate link, but I hadn't hit him up because of the whole pandemic. And I'm like, man, all this shit that they've had to go through, like they probably are selling all this hand sanitizer. I'm like, I don't need anything. I'm not going anywhere right now. So
yeah, it's a tough time right now to ask for anything like for free or like, favors from our friends who are running small business because we're all in the same shit together. So
yeah,
I get it.
But yeah, check out them.
I'm going to check them out. I'm actually going to hit them up. I've been wanting to contact him for a couple of years now. I've just always been skating around it, and you reminded me.
All the product is amazing. Like
I've had some of their product, yes. And I saw Kevin post a couple days ago, and then you just said something, so now I have to hit him up.
Yeah,
no excuses now.
Really good stuff. So now they should give me some more stuff.
There you go. Yeah, you did your part. Sold me.
No, I've sold a lot of people. Like I
bet. Their product is great. Their product is absolutely great. I've used all their stuff and never had any problems or anything pop up.
All my students, because I used to use the wipes after training.
Yeah.
If you can't just jump in a shower, I was like, you use these antibacterial wipes and you wipe down, and I'm like, oh, well, that's good. And people are like, what are those? They smell great. And I'm like, check these out. And I used to leave them at the gym, and a lot of people ordered them. So, but
the perfect time to really plug something like that because even if your gym has a shower, a lot of gyms aren't even opening their showers right now. Like even like the local gyms here, no showers are open. You can't use the steam room or anything like that. So people work out and they need the wipes.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
You couldn't use public restrooms, right?
Yeah.
That's the world we live in. But yeah, we should definitely do something soon.
Yeah. We could definitely talk more, definitely with the gym thing, because that would be great, because that was always something we wanted to do, but it is a lot of work, and it's almost like a full-time job for you. I mean...
Well, it would be. That's why I need to team up with the right people. I mean, literally...
Like you said, you got to team up with the right people, and, you can't just be like, hey, I'm here at Fairtex. It's like everybody's been there. You want to go to the cool gyms. I know what you're saying. That would be great.
Like 13 coins, when I visited there, I was like, what? This is amazing. And I didn't know about it.
Yeah. We filmed a couple scenes in the movie at 13 Coins, and the the director just fell in love with the place, and he didn't even use it for the movie. He was just filming like just how how the gym looks. If you look on our Instagram page, we actually Matt went out there and did another tour of the place recently. He just went out maybe like 2 weeks ago, and it's just like kind of depressing because it's empty. Everyone's, like I said, Bangkok closed. They just go back to their home and just chill out and wait for things to
Mr.
blow
Koch
over.
had passed away.
Yeah.
Like right before this, so that sucks.
Yeah.
I met him. He was so cool. Like just posted up in the chair, smoking. And it's things like that. Yeah, smoking, no shirt on.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
That's where we hooked up with Saget.
Yeah, that's where I trained with him because he had just left whatever other weird gym he was at.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find it. And Sylvie had posted something with him at the other gym. So I hit up Sylvie. I'm like, "Oh, where is he? I train with him." And she's like, "Oh, I'll call him for you." And she called him and like set it up. Nice. I was like, that's cool. She was awesome when I was out there. Like when I trained at Samat's gym, they were hand making the moncons, and him and his trainers. And so I was like, they sell them. So I got one for myself, and I got one for my buddy Kurt for his gym for him, and I wanted to get them blessed in Thailand before I left.
Of course,
I didn't know how to do that. Like, what do you do? Like, how does this really work? And she's like, "Well, here's the temple that I used," and she was really cool about it, and kind of like. So I went to a temple down the street from my condo. And I did a whole video on like actually the whole process and everything too. Is like like from me walking into a temple that doesn't do it. Talked to these two guys and they're like, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I went and talked to these two ladies on the way out, and they were selling the flowers for the temple. And she's like, "Oh, wait!" And she called the monk at the other temple, and she's like, "Yeah, he'll do it for you."
You gonna bring some offering or something?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't have to bring offerings there. It was like an offering, like money wise, it was like 100 baht or something like that. But so the whole process was super cool because the two ladies called the monk. Then she wrote in Thai where I needed to go. She said, "Go next door to the motorbike taxi. Give him this." So like, it's a great like humanitarian story to me. It's like, so I don't know any of these people, and you're in Thailand. This lady goes out of her way, and then I'm like, "Where do you want me to go?" And she goes, "Hold on." And she walks out, takes me over to the motorbike taxi, tells him where I have to go, gives him this paper. He takes me. It's like outside of Pattaya, totally weird, obscure temple that you wouldn't really find. I go in there, and the motorbike taxi's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, he goes, "Do you want me to wait?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting this monk on." "Oh, Thai boxing." I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, do you know where to go?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything. Like, I don't speak Thai." And he's like, "Hold on. This motorbike taxi now takes me into the temple, explains to the monk what I'm doing. The monk's talking to me, joking with me, having a good time, and then goes through the whole process. So this motorbike taxi tells me what to do with the offering. Like,
they were there like every step of the way. They were helping you.
Random ladies to a motorbike taxi to this monk, and it was amazing. And I have it all on video. I did a whole YouTube video about it. And then another one was just my birthday blessing, because I was alone. I wasn't like, when I went to Thailand, I had a girlfriend at the year before, and it didn't work, and she was up north, and so I was alone. So when I would go do things, I just go do them. And it was my birthday, so I went to the biggest temple near Pattaya, and I went there by myself. But I was kind of like, the hell, like, there was tons of people. It was on a weekend, and I was like, what do I do? And these two younger girls were taking selfies in front of a temple, like, because the temple was beautiful. I was like, "Do you want me to take the picture for you?" They're like, "Oh yeah, thank you." So I took their picture, and then I said, "Can you tell me where to go? Like, it's my birthday." "Oh, okay. Can you kind of tell me where to go to do, to get the offering and all that for my birthday?" And like, I didn't know that you had to buy a specific offering for like a specific day that you're born, and to go through this whole process. These two girls were with me for 45 minutes, walking me through everything and explaining everything that I was supposed to do. Whether it was like, give them money, but it's like it's not even tour guides, because like if somebody came to New York, it's like, I want to see the Empire State Building, and you go, all right, let's go, and you go, hey, isn't that fucking cool? You know, like, but they were like, because Thai people, like when they take pride in you taking pride in wanting to know and wanting to engage in these things that aren't the tourist shit. Like I wasn't going, hey, where's Walking Street? You know,
where can I get elephant pants?
Right? Yeah, like, you know, so they literally walked me through everything, and it was funny is I did the whole blessing with the monk, and we were done, and I'm like, I didn't get like the blessing bracelet. And she, hold on, let's go. And we walked back, and she took back over, explained it, and we did that. It was like super cool. And then I even like talked to the girls for like months afterwards, just like randomly. Nice. Send a message saying hi, but it wasn't anything. There was no hidden meaning. Like if we did it here, you know what I mean? Like if we did it here, they think that like if you're gonna talk to two random girls, especially you're in New York, they're gonna go, "What do you want?"
Right.
You know, and it was nothing like that. It was like, well, and all I wanted them was to like direct me the right way. They were like, no, they took me through the whole thing. Like I have pictures, and there's like me, and then the girl was like with me the whole time. That's and then great. The other girl was taking pictures of us, like to document the whole thing, and I didn't ask her to. And she's like, "Oh, here's the pictures." I'm like, "Oh my god, it was so awesome." And then how could you not miss Thailand after stuff like that? You know?
Yeah. No, totally. Yep.
So it's we have to get back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like same thing you were saying. Like you got over there right before it all closed down, right?
No, I was there September, right? And then we were planning to go back in March or something like that. Maybe a little after March, and that's just when everything started spiraling out of control.
Kevin I tried to go. Was there started too.
Yeah, we try to get out there at least. I mean, at the very least, I'm there once a year for 2-3 weeks or something like that. But I've been going a couple times a year now. So
yeah, once I started going, I was 3 times a year. And then once I was like, I don't have anywhere to live anymore. I'm just gonna live there.
Yeah, that's good though.
Sorry, just other than that, I mean, Thailand progression. Keep working on what we're working on, but
yeah, I mean that's all we can do really is just figure out what I'm going to do for the day, and then who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, because we might be upside down again, or we might be just like, hey, we're open. Yeah. Like, I have no, you know what I'm saying? Like everything's open. Like
just
we're back to normal.
Closed.
Yeah, no clue.
So it's like, it's one of those.
But yeah, definitely send me some more information on what you want to do with the travel, the gym stuff. Maybe we'll look into it. Also, maybe Knockmore Legends possibly doing some sponsor stuff for the show. We'll look into it.
Definitely. Yeah.
See what you guys want to do. I mean, we're always down to help out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you guys got a good following, and I have a different audience somehow. I mean, I guess they probably overlap, but it seems like I get a lot of foreign people, just different countries and things like that, which is pretty cool. And when you look at them, you're like, oh, these aren't like fighters. So I'm like, how'd you come across this?
Something that they found interesting.
Most people, they tell me, oh, I just searched like a Muay Thai podcast or a martial arts podcast. I'm like, oh, cool. So it's pretty dope. And like what you guys are doing is awesome. I mean, to have one kind of authority. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously not authority, but giving out legitimate information without just being reposting.
Like I said, I mean, there's always, you see something great, I always obviously want to repost it and, credit the person, and hopefully they get some credit that they deserve. But, really, we really like making the original content, coming up with an idea of, like the last couple of weeks, Matt Lucas has been working with a lot of our sponsored fighters in Bangkok on, fight diets. So they went to some restaurants in Bangkok and, just kind of talking about food plans and what they eat. And some of them are vegan, some of them aren't vegan. It's interesting stuff that's not just done over and over again, right? I mean, because everybody can make the same video of somebody crushing the pads. And it looks great and it's great. But, I mean, it's the same thing. We want to do some unique behind the scenes, or maybe there's somebody had a question and hopefully we can answer it.
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's why I did like my Moncon video. That's why I did the specific video with Supergirl. It was like, there's videos of her doing this, but when I did that, there wasn't like a breakdown of what she was doing.
This is probably before she really blew up too, right?
Well, Supergirl, the younger sister.
Mhm.
I want to say she was 15 or 16, because it
Mhm.
was literally, so I was going and already scheduled it because I was leaving the country and then coming back, and I was going to go train with her. I was at Fairtex. That's when I met Matt at
Mhm.
Fairtex, like in passing, and we didn't even really know that we met. And
Right.
then someone had told me that Wonder Girl had just gotten sponsored by Fairtex.
Mhm.
And so that was like literally the same, because I was supposed to train with her.
Right.
And then her dad's like, well, her sister's here. They're basically interchangeable
Yeah.
almost.
Of course.
And so that's when I went and did that. So it was like the only reason I even knew was because I saw a clip of their knees.
Yeah.
It wasn't like,
But
because none of them were famous fighters yet.
all it took was one viral video of her throwing like wicked ass knees and really blew
Yeah.
her up.
Yeah.
And then, her father, and then, and I'm so happy that they're all doing well. I mean, good for them. Sky's the limit.
Well, it's like when we talked to John Wayne Parr, his daughter has fought a couple times over in Thailand now too.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, when does Jazzy go pro? She's like, or go to one. He's like, oh, as soon as she's of age. They're already, he goes, it's already done. Okay. I'm like, hell, it's pretty cool. And there's lots of amazing fighters, and like we have Angela scheduled next week.
Good.
So we got that one, and we have Matt hooked me up with another guy from the Muay Thai Federation.
Maybe Michael Corley?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're going to have him on. I mean, we got a lot of cool guests coming on, and just kind of really keep embedding ourselves into the Muay Thai community,
Yeah. Like I said, I think the key with these things, and I'm learning it too, this is in the past, I haven't been as consistent, but man, you stay consistent, it really pays off. Yeah. And I know it gets drilled into my head every week by Matt. He's super on it. I mean, he's great with this stuff, but I'm just like, all right. And now, a year down, and I see how much we've accomplished and what we're doing and what we're getting done. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense. Yeah. It's all about consistency. And like I said, especially with podcasts, it seems like if you have content constantly coming out,
right,
people are going to pay for that, or people are going to listen or check in. You're going to be on the radar. You got to stay on everyone's radar.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it's life. Once you're gone, nobody gives a shit. You're gone. All right, Brett. Anything else you want to throw out there? Promote?
Oh, that's it. Just check out, obviously, Knock Muay Legends, Muay Thai Gram on Instagram. And then also January 29th, Haymaker is available for on demand through iTunes.
Cool. If somebody wanted to train with you, where are you training out of?
I am training out of the dojo in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Okay. They can get a hold of me through social media, any of the avenues, Muay Thai Gram or my personal one. And also I travel around a little, so maybe, even if I'm far away, they can still hit me up and maybe we could arrange something.
Perfect. Good deal, man. Thank you, my friend. It's been an awesome chat.
Thank you very much for having me. And like I said, send me a text and we could start talking about some other stuff.
Definitely.
Cool.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right, bye. I'll talk to you later.
Safe. Yep.
Bye-bye. Thank you once again for listening to the #1 combat sports podcast, the Fight Chase Muay Thai and MMA podcast. You can follow us on Fight Chase on all the social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And also, don't forget you can support us at any time going to the anchor.fm/fightchase, hit the support icon, and you can support us for as little as 99 cents a month. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And Kurt, don't say boom. Boom.
Locks out moisture, seals in freshness. Good night, Irene. Double hammer fist, double hammer fist, double hammer fist. Seconds remaining for a great survival story. She survived. It's good night, freaking Irene.
Hey guys, Kelly from Fight Chase. So today what I want to talk to you guys about is Project 52. Project 52 is a new project that I'm going to embark on hopefully July, August type of time when I get back over to Thailand. So most of you have known I left Las Vegas, came to New Hampshire, and then was basically living in Thailand. Came back for some visa stuff to the States, and COVID hit. So now here we are, over a year later, and we're just waiting for the travel restrictions and things like that to kind of ease back so I can get back to Thailand. But today we're talking about Project 52. Project 52 is something that I have dreamt up that I want to do, and I want to do with all of you. And what it is there's 52 weeks in a year, and I'm going to visit 52 gyms in 1 year. So what I'm going to do is one gym a week for 1 year. These are 52 different locations all over Thailand. I want to go up north. I want to visit some gyms that people may have never heard of. There's so many gyms that people have never heard of. So I want to I'll bring you to the big gyms. I'll bring you to the small gyms that maybe no one's ever seen. I'll just do these research and find these gyms and bring you guys to that. So this is a project that obviously I can't do on my own, as far as I'm going to be doing all the recording, all the editing, all of the research, scheduling, traveling, all of this on my own. The only thing that I'm going to need you guys to do, other than enjoy all the content, is the financial part. And if I had the money, honestly, I would just do it on my own. So I've set up a few different things that if somebody wants to help back this and kind of join in on the journey, is we have t-shirts. T-shirts really don't do much as far as put too much into money. If you buy a t-shirt, I believe I make probably $5, but that $5 is appreciated. It'll go right into the fund for the project. While I'm doing this whole project, I'll be doing writing an ebook on the travel, on the experience, and probably on maybe all the gyms and then section them. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go. So again, that'll be one of the products that's going to come out of this. I'm going to be doing I'm looking over here, I apologize, it's where my notes are. I'm going to be doing a video of the training from each gym, just like I do now, but this is 52 gyms. Weekly content will be put out. So if I go to a new gym, you'll have a new video of the gym, kind of a tour of the gym. You'll have a new video of the training at the gym. You'll have more artistic line photos with my nice DSLR. I'm going to take photos of each location. You've seen some of the gyms that I've done, and I did it at some Arts Gym. I did it at 13 Coins. I've done some at Fairtex, like real nice high resolution, kind of more artsy type photos that people can enjoy, like Instagram looking photos. So you'll have a weekly journey recap. So it'll be me talking about how I got to these places. If you ever travel around Southeast Asia, you sometimes will get into cabs or a bus or a specific kind of vehicle to get somewhere that's not really known to other people. So it's part of the journey. I rode a bus in Cambodia that had no seats; they had bunks, and it was like an overnight bus. And after I rode it, everyone was like, "Oh, it's super dangerous," and I'm like, it wasn't very comfortable either. So, like I said, we have the shirts. They're available through fightchase.com shop, and it's Project 52 shirts. Obviously, any of the other shirts there, they also will benefit this project because this is where all my money's going to go. I'm going to be doing a Patreon. It's already set up. So the Patreon, you have different levels of support, anywhere from $10 up to, and it's a monthly subscription, so you'd be paying, that amount of money going towards the project monthly. I also want to do a GoFundMe, kind of to get the project known, and you'll be able to donate there like a one-time thing. The Patreon is an overtime thing, and there's different tiers, and the different tiers give you different things. Like there's a tier that you'll get a t-shirt, there's a tier that your name will be in the credits to all the videos, there's a tier that you're the main sponsor. Then you basically, your brand company, and or if it was an individual person, would be marketed alongside of Fight Chase as the journey would be brought to you by them. I kind of think of it similar as like if an athlete was sponsored by Nike, their main sponsor, and that's who's giving them the financial backing to embark on their journey. So that's kind of the financial steps as far as I have figured out so far. All of these will be set up. Like I said, the Patreon setup. We have Venmo and all that stuff. So if you just wanted to kind of donate a few bucks or something like that, that you could send that over to me, and it goes directly to this fund. This fund isn't going to be used to anything else other than making this 52 gyms in 1 year, 52 weeks, a success. Another thing that we'll be doing as in me, but if you help donate, you're part of this project. You're going to embark on this experience with me. You could even dictate kind of where you want to see next. If I'm in a certain region, if you heard of a certain gym, you're like, hey, can you try this? Another thing that I want to do, I have a lot of friends now. I have a lot of friends in the industry. I have a lot of fighter friends. I have a lot of friends that go on vacation to Thailand. They're like, oh, I'm going to go for the Muay Thai holiday. Great. Hit me up. You can become part of this project. You will be with me. I'll take you to a gym. We'll record the whole thing. You'll be a special guest. I'm going to have some of my friends that are there, athletes, fighters, and things like that, join me on these things. So you'll have a different point of view. You can have me as a trainer from the States, as a enthusiast, my point of view of the gym, and then you could have in the same episode a UFC athlete, their point of view of the gym. So it's going to be kind of like a whole series. I mean, this is 52 weeks. 52 weeks is more than most of your TV shows will put out episodes weekly. That we'll be putting this content out. Me, along with your help. So I'm trying to, anything else, I apologize. I'm just trying to speak and let you guys know exactly what I'm trying to do. So you've seen a couple of posts that I've had up about Project 52. This is Project 52. Me, back in Thailand. 52 gyms, 52 weeks. Okay? 1 year of training. That's it. Now, you get to watch it. You get to have a say on where we go. You get to enjoy the experience. You get to see the ups and downs. There's going to be possibly injuries and sicknesses, or who knows? It's a crazy adventure. All of this will be put out in video content weekly. And, this is something that I like to do. The reason I started Fight Chase is to get people to understand that getting over to like Thailand or wherever your ideal destination is, it's not that hard. When we talk about Thailand, like on the podcast, so I started Fight Chase after a few trips over to Thailand, and Fight Chase was fightchase.com. If you've gone there, that's just my gym reviews, product reviews, where I came from. It's kind of like the epicenter of Fight Chase. And then I started the brand. So we have Fight Chase shop. So that's just where you can get merchandise like this. Ooh, if you know this logo, shame on you. That's okay. I know it too. And all sorts of different like cool martial arts type of shirts and things like that. I have hoodies. And these are all designed by me. I come up with the designs. I figure them out. I've learned Photoshop, same as I've learned all my editing for doing the YouTube channel. learned how to edit all the videos, and that's gone over to the podcast. We've had amazing guests on the podcast. If you haven't listened to the Fight Chase podcast, check that out. We've had John Wayne Parr, Khalil Roundtree Jr., we just had, I mean, we have so many episodes that I haven't even put out yet that are amazing fighters, and I have DJ Jackson, I have, I have Mark Matthews from Ink Master, I have, Savas Michael from One Championship. We have so many people coming up, and we've had so many amazing episodes that are already out, so check those out. But I've learned how now we're putting out videos with those, okay? So I've learned that aspect of it. And what I do with all this is I just want to give you information to help you maybe take a step to make a journey to see that we need to be out and we need to experience things, you need to meet new people, experience cultures, travel. Like, we're not made just to do the 9 to 5 and be stuck in your house like we have been. So they couldn't think of a better time to really go for this ambitious project. Is as soon as I'm able to travel, to be out of this situation again and back into where I'm the happiest in Thailand, I want to bring all of you with me. I want to bring everyone with me. If you don't even help support this financially, please just join the journey. But this video is just me trying to show you the passion that I have, explain the journey, what we're going to have to do to make it happen. Got to make some money, unfortunately, but people get money to play video games on TV, so I was hoping that we can make this get rolling. I have a few businesses that are looking to come on board. I mean, I've always had great help product-wise with like Defense Soap and a few other brands that have kind of given me product support. So this is going to be a big thing. That it's going to be a financial thing. All of my money is going to go to it for the next year to make it happen, and you know, that's what it is. Project 52, guys. Let's get it happening. If you come to Thailand, you're part of the show. If you're at home, you're enjoying the show. So thanks you guys for listening. Hope you understand how much this means to me, and let's make it happen. Have a great day.